any idea on YouTube can get 1 million views, and in this video, I'm gonna draw it out like a third grader on my iPad, and you are gonna believe me by the end of it and see content creation in a whole new light, hopefully. Now, for this video, I'm gonna treat it as if it was just kind of me and you, as if you were my YouTube buddy and we're on the phone talking strategy. That's kind of what I like doing and I do with my friends, so I'm gonna treat that video as if that's what we were doing. All right, so in order to get a video with 1 million views on YouTube, we need to look at what I call the content steps. So we think of content steps, it just kind of looks like this, okay? And we'll just call this content steps. Like I said, I draw like a third grader, so we just kind of have to deal with it. So at the top, over here on the right side, we have our expert, okay? Now this is like the 1% of creators. And then below them, we have our advanced people, which I would say are probably like the 5% of creators. And then below them, we have like our intermediates. So I would say this is like 30% of creators. And then at the very bottom here, we have our beginners. And I would say these people are like 65% of your audience. Now, this equals up to close to 100% at 101%. So the numbers are arbitrary, that doesn't matter. What I want you to understand here is that when it comes to YouTube, this is basically the guide to determining if your video is going to get a lot of views or not. And I'll prove it to you. Let's do inverse thinking. So I got this from the OG Charlie Munger. I believe this is where this comes from. So let's say our goal was to make a video that got no more than 5 views. So instead of 1 million views, we want to make a video that will get 5 views or less. How would we do it? Well, what I would do is make a video on whatever the topic is for these steps here. I'm gonna make it so advanced, so in-depth. In the title, I'm gonna use the most advanced, in-depth like word to hopefully try and target even a small percentage of the subsection of that 1%. It's gonna be the most advanced video on YouTube about that topic. I wanna get less than 5 views, right? I'm gonna try to appeal to the smallest amount of people, which would be that subsection of that 1%. So now, hopefully you're seeing it, is that if I wanted to make a video that was gonna get 1 million views on YouTube, I would try to appeal to the 95% that's right here, maybe a bit of this 5%, but it's really gonna have a strong appeal to these two audiences right here. And also, think about this for a second. I thought about this when I was talking to my friend on the phone, ironically, which is why we're here today. So if you want to get a video with 1 million views, you have to remember that there is the click-through rate. So let's say that your CTR on a video with 1 million views is 4%. Guess right now how many impressions you need to make. I'll give you a second. It's 25 million impressions with a 4% click-through rate to get 1 million views. So your video has to be able to be shown on the homepage, the suggested, the search, that's not happening, but the browse and the suggested to 25 million people. So the question is then, ladies and gentlemen, how in the hell do we make a video that can be applicable to 25 million people's homepage? That was not the right sentence, but you get what I'm going for. See, what you need to understand here is that at each of these different steps, you have different problems. And really, people don't have that many problems, especially when they're in the beginner phase, like because they just don't know much. So why would they have problems? You know what I mean? It's like they haven't really explored much. They haven't ran into many roadblocks themselves, so they're not going to have a lot of problems. So really, when you start making this specific problem content, you're really targeting like a little bit of this audience, of the 30%, like the ones who are like close to here, and really a lot of like the 5% of people who are here. So you're just not going to get a lot of views. So think about it, right? When you make a video that is targeted to the 5%, that's very much like specifically solving a problem regarding your niche, it only applies to that 5%. And so what happens is the video will usually look something like this in your YouTube graph of like, sure, it'll grow and grow over months, over years, but why is that happening? Well, it's because the other people within these steps are essentially moving themselves up in the steps, right? So the beginner over time becomes intermediates, what you're doing is you're just kind of chilling here, and then you're hoping that people are essentially moving themselves up and watching content. The beginners, you hope the beginners are watching content to go to intermediate, and that the intermediates are watching content to then go to the more advanced side. So now let me break this down even more once again, and we can really start like understanding this deeply, because I think it will be mind-blowing for you. So essentially, the reason why I made these content steps in the first place is because a creator came to me, he said, hey, I have this video, and it just performed terribly. Kind of how could I change it up to get more views? And so the title of that video was how to record short form content as a music producer. And if you think about it, right, that's a very specific video that is up targeting the 5% of creators. So obviously, like I said, it's gonna be one of those videos of where you upload it, it'll get views as, like I said, people understand and run into that problem of how to record short form content for social media as a producer. So let me break this down for you guys now in sort of the first layer of this video. So right off the bat, we're targeting music producer. So if you're not a music producer, you can't watch this video. It's not going to be applicable to you. So that's not really a good or a bad thing. The whole topic of music production is still very, very big. So it's not getting too niche right off the start. And so with the title here of how to record short form content, that's essentially establishing what I would call two barriers with this title. First off, they have to know the importance of actually getting their music on social media and why they'd want to make content on social media. And the second barrier is that it's somebody who hasn't tried yet, so they want to learn how to do it, or it's somebody who has tried, but they feel like they're not doing a good job and it's frustrating them. So then how could we remove kind of the barriers of this title and make it a million viewed video by appealing more to this audience, the beginners and the intermediates? And how could you do it for yourself with your video ideas as well? Well, it's easy, kinda. The concept of what we're doing here, it's pretty easy and simple to understand, but getting a million viewed video on YouTube, yes, it's a hard thing. But what you need to understand here is while these people at their different levels, they have different problems, but if you're within a topic, a niche, or some sort of appeal to a certain audience, they usually share one thing together, and that is the desires that they have. So one thing I want you to do really quickly is think about the big, broad level desires that your audience has. And here's the thing, don't get super specific because it's within one of these three things here. The first is either health, the second is wealth, and the third is happiness. Boom. Let me show you what I mean. So let's go back to the idea of the music producer, how to record short form content for social media. If you think about it, the beginners that are right here, they don't know that social media is important yet, right? They might not even be on social media for all we know, or they might be, but they're not actually posting content because why would they? They don't see a benefit in it, or they don't know the benefit of it. They're not aware of why they should be doing it. And then even in the intermediates, these people might know about the benefits of social media, but they're not posting content themselves because they just haven't been sold on the idea yet. And of course, right, your original video was targeting that 5% that simply they know the benefit of it, they've tried posting, or they want to get into posting, so they need the content about how to post in general. So if we take a look at this mess that this has become, in terms of these top two, and even this top three, the desire here is pretty much the money/wealth, and then also the happiness or the ability to quit their job and go full-time with their music so they're not working a shitty job, but they're happy because they get to spend all their time making music. So when I talked to the creator who made the video, he actually brought up right away that he had posted a video on social media and it had got him $3,500 in whatever he was doing within his music production business. So essentially, in the video, he was like, hey, I posted a video on social media, it got a lot of views, and that made me a lot of money. That's pretty cool. And so essentially, if you can focus your title around that concept there of making money on social media, that can appeal to the beginner. Because the beginner has that desire to get the same outcome that you got, which was money. So if you explain to him, hey, I made the money, which is the shared outcome we have by getting views on social media, by posting videos onto that platform, all of a sudden that beginner, because they were made aware of how they can reach their desire, they now understand, okay, I need to post on social media and it's important I get views because that's how that guy got money. So now I care about social media, I care about views, and essentially you just took me in one video from here to being in here. So now, of course, how do we take our original title and reformat it to be more appealing to that broader audience and also still make a good video that's not just some bullshit? Well, it's important to remember that the term of, short form content, right? That means nothing to anybody who is a beginner. That means absolutely nothing. That means nothing to them. And to be honest, they don't care about TikTok either. All they really care about is the wealth or the happiness side of it. Now, these are just kind of quick ideas, but a title could be, I quit my job by posting my music on social media. Or I went full-time with my music by posting 40-second videos on TikTok. Do you see how with those titles, it's much more appealing to that broader intermediate audience? And those titles have the potential to get that million views. And so now here's where it's really cool, where you can kind of get into your strategy side of this, right? So you have your advanced people, your intermediates, and your beginners, right? So let's just uncircle those so it's a bit more cleaner. You can start essentially making different types of awareness content within your own channel and funnel people from video to video. So what you could do is make a really specific video about like how to make short form videos on TikTok, how to record short form videos on TikTok, and you just accept that video right there is focused on search. It's not going to be your million viewed baby. And then you can make more intermediate content here for people who are like, should you post on TikTok? Is posting on TikTok as a musician really worth it? That could be something like that, right? And then right here, right, you can make your beginner home run content. It's supposed to be a play button. It's so bad. It literally looks like a D. But anyways, that can be like your home run browse type content of like how I went full time by posting 40-second snippets of my music online, right? Whatever the title was for that idea. And then what happens is people come through, they see that video, they're like, oh, like social media is important. So, they might go to your intermediate content and they might see that video like, this is really, really good stuff. How do I do this, right? Like, I really want to do this. This is a problem I want to solve now because I saw the outcome that you got. And so now they'll watch that content. And so essentially you can treat, your content creating funnels within itself. And then of course, if you have products or whatnot you want to sell, people are going to get to this point faster. And this is the point where you can sell a lot more higher ticket stuff. And it's a lot easier to sell because people right here, they're more problem aware, right? The beginners, it's really hard to sell something to a beginner, especially for a higher price, because if someone's a beginner at something, they're probably not going to want to invest that much money. And odds are they haven't had enough pain yet to even know about a problem they want to solve, or something really isn't that big of a problem to them just yet. So essentially, if I can sum this video into a quick little conclusion here, start making content that can appeal to the beginners and the intermediates and also still deliver value. When you're titling videos, try not to add too much of like specific languages or like instead of short form content, say TikTok. Everybody knows what TikTok is, but short form content might not mean anything to a beginner. So think about the little nuances within your titles and words that could essentially filter out an audience that could be bad. And my last tip is to really just think about that frame of if you want 1 million views with a 4% click-through rate, your video needs to appeal to 25 million people's homepage. Okay, so if you want to make the viral million viewed content that still has a niche, a topic that hopefully you're going to sell digital products to and whatnot and make money from your channel and still have a focus for your channel and not be like, I put 100 kids in the back of a truck, whatever, that bullshit viral content, you need to have it apply to 25 million people, which I don't know if it can be done, but yeah. Also, by the way, did you know that there is a really huge shift happening on YouTube right now with the algorithm? If you didn't know, watch this video right here. Peace out.